Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing whether perhaps America's loss in the cryptocurrency space, and by loss, I think it can be said it's sort of a possible impending loss, could be Thailand's gain. And where I came up with this, I was thinking about the other day. I read an article from decrypt.co. That's decrypt.co. And the article was titled, quote, "Not a drill," unquote, "Infrastructure bill could sink American crypto industry." Quoting directly, quote, "This is not a drill," unquote, writes Jake Chervinsky, an influential crypto lawyer and a sober voice in a hyper-prone industry. In a must-read Twitter thread, Chervinsky explains how the $550 billion bill, which is primarily about roads and bridges, could shiv American crypto companies. The pain comes in the form of the bill that explains how the U.S. will help pay for those roads and bridges. Namely, the bill states that Uncle Sam plans to cover $28 billion of the cost by squeezing crypto brokers. Quoting further, "The trouble is that the bill defines, quote, broker, unquote, a term normally used to describe the likes of Coinbase and Robinhood, as basically any business that touches crypto. As Chervinsky writes, this definition is so broad it could apply to nearly every economic actor in the U.S. crypto industry if read literally," unquote. The catch-all, quote, broker, unquote term could apply to miners, DeFi startups, and others who will have to file customer forms with the IRS, a task that is in some cases impossible. Yeah, there's certain IRS stuff that in certain situations it's effectively not possible. But yes, this is interesting. And again, that's from decrypt.co, titled, quote, "Not a drill," unquote, "Infrastructure bill could sink American crypto industry." Urge those viewers who are interested in this, go check out that article. But you know what this reminded me of when I was reading it? And I've kind of been waiting for the other shoe to drop on this topic. For those unaware, when I was going through law school, I actually worked in the gaming industry. I worked in casinos. I was a poker dealer, blackjack dealer, craps dealer. I can pretty much deal anything except roulette. Don't really have any skill set there. But yeah, I worked in that industry while I was going through law school. And so I've always kind of kept apprised of what's going on in the gaming space, especially poker. I dealt with a lot of poker in my time. And online poker, for those unaware, going back to, I think it was 2007, maybe earlier, there was a law that was passed. It was called the Safe Port Act, I believe. And there was a congressman, a guy by the name of Barney Frank, who apparently kind of slipped what they call sort of a rider, or slipped some language into the bill that really had nothing to do with safe ports at all, but did have to do with the way in which money could be transferred, banking transactions associated with online gaming. And a lot of people wondered if perhaps that Mr. Frank hadn't been lobbying. I don't know what happened here, but there was a lot of speculation at the time that lobbying had occurred by the major gaming establishments, major gaming institutions, casinos, etc., in the gambling industry to go ahead and get that law on the books to basically decrease a lot of competition. And I've kind of wondered if crypto one of these days wouldn't go the same way. And what proved to be the Achilles heel for online poker especially was the fact that it was the banking. It was the conversion of money, or the movement of money into these online platforms, and then the movement back out. And it became a very difficult, if not impossible, thing to deal with that under certain circumstances. Now, I haven't kept track of all the details of that up to this point. I'm just kind of pointing it out because I think it's analogous to what we're dealing with now. But long story short, yeah, if this goes through and you see something kind of akin to that where it becomes very, how do you want to put it? It becomes very difficult, cumbersome to have any kind of dealings with crypto onshore in the United States. Or, what may happen is often what happens in a lot of these situations is some of the big actors have the ability to go ahead and be in compliance with the relevant laws. And in a sense, they kind of get bigger because certain customers want to deal with things in their own jurisdiction. But my question, the question I sort of posed to myself and decided to make a video on, was could this augur well for Thailand? Because Thailand has created a space in the crypto world. And there is specific legislation that has been passed and regulations that have been promulgated out here that are pretty transparent and can make things very feasible for folks who want to operate in this space here in Thailand. And, you know, I think everybody's waiting around with bated breath to see how this bill comes down or if it even gets passed and what the ramifications of that are. And one thing that may happen, and I think folks that are interested in this topic probably ought to take note of this, especially out here in Southeast Asia, you know, it may not be a terrible idea to start looking at Thailand as a possible alternative jurisdiction to deal with these matters outside the United States.